Starting from the humble beginnings of a teacup, a new creature enters the fiery skies on this canvas to take its place among the creatures. Zveki, hello. To those new here, I am Aminaris, a comic creator and illustrator. To create art from shadows and silhouettes isn't exactly new by far. But have you ever thought about the objects in your own home? I've applied this technique during various times and methods throughout my artistic journey, and today, as you can see here, I'm exploring the idea of this teacup filled with tools and trinkets that normally sits on my desk may hold something mysterious, not obvious at first glance. There's many ways to designing creatures and pulling inspirations for those designs. This happens to be one of my oldest methods. I do admit I cannot remember who initially taught me or showed me, but I suppose in some ways it's not much different than seeing things in the clouds if you stare at it long enough. Learning to silhouette, I know, isn't anything new either. In college, I was taught that to create more interesting characters and dynamic characters, their silhouettes had to be interesting. Rather than apply this to an already designed character and pose, I'm using it now to design the character itself, well, creature in this case. Though I suppose that also still applies to being a character. When I had this particular idea to create this creature from this particular teacup for this kind of video in order to restart this channel, give it a new breath of life per se, the first object that came to mind was this teacup. I now only store a certain amount of pens that I use for journaling in it, as I am heavily trying to declutter the home at the moment too. Because we've gathered so much stuff over the years between friends, family, and things we ourselves have bought and either just never used like we thought we would, or it may have gotten used once and then it just sits around collecting dust. But anyways, about this particular teacup. I did once actually drink out of it, so it functioned as its intended purpose, but I'm not sure what happened along the way, but now it has this crack along the side that I makeshift tried to fix with some glue, but obviously did not work. So, no, I can never drink out of it again, but I also didn't want to throw it away. I still have this sentimental feeling about it, so I just use it to store stuff on my desk rather than drink out of it. I do also have another one, just like it, but instead of it being this particular red fox, it's gray. That one belongs to my spouse though, but they don't really use it much. I use it most of the time, but anyways. When it comes to silhouettes, I generally look for something that has a lot of shapes to it, and thus this teacup seemed like a nice starting challenge. Once I actually drew out the shadow and started sketching, the ideas just flowed and felt a lot more easier. I initially thought bird. I saw the way the pens were shaped and such, and it just automatically made me think of feathers. But then with the smoothness of the ceramic and such, I thought of like a lizard or dragon. And well, here I am. I decided to slap the two together as I was working along. I thought it felt rather fitting to create a dragon bird, but keep the bird legs and give the rest more dragony vibes. As opposed to me, it's a little more amusing. Whether you believe me or not, I do actually enjoy creature designing, but it is something I also struggle with at the same time. I usually get these short bursts of information, not information, inspiration, and then afterwards I'll create maybe one or two creatures, if I'm lucky, a couple more after that, and then just fall absolutely flat and have absolutely no inspiration. So for things like when I do hit those roadblocks, I have previously turned to things like scrolling through media, seeing what other people have created, but even that sometimes doesn't feel, at least to me, it doesn't always feel like it's genuinely coming from me. I'm just mashing together other people's ideas. So when I get the opportunity to actually find full-on inspiration, I will use whatever methods I can. So if I see something in a silhouette, I'm gonna go for it. I do have no doubt whatsoever that this dragon bird creature I've created here probably won't entirely be able to function very well with such odd-shaped leather wings. Given I think the raggedy square-like edges I decided to give it, I think would alter how like the wind and stuff would move. But for fantasy based, I just go ham. There are no rules if you don't want to use rules, so things don't have to function to Earthian standards. And that's how I'm gonna look at it that's how I looked at it for this particular creature. I don't always apply it, as I do generally aim for a creature I feel could function very well if it was real. But in this case, it's just for funsies. And here's the final concept for this dragon bird I ended up creating with this first challenge. If you have any ideas of your own or even a name for this creature, let me know in the comments. So if this was interesting and you'd like to join me on this journey, please think of liking and subscribing. Thank you for watching and stay creative.